Mr. President, I also want to speak just a moment, if I can, today about a bill that hopefully will pass the Senate later today as well. In just a few weeks, our Olympic athletes will head to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for the 2016 Olympic Games. The following month, America's Paralympic athletes will compete in the Rio Paralympic Games. These athletes represent what is best about our country. They embody the timeless values of hard work, dedication, and sportsmanship. Our Olympic and Paralympic athletes and their families have made innumerable sacrifices over the many years of training it takes to become a world-class competitor. Training is not cheap, and the vast majority of our amateur athletes put it all on the line without the help of sponsors or endorsement deals to subsidize their expenses. Many of these athletes have spent virtually their entire lives training for this moment, and I have absolutely no doubt that these brave young men and women will represent our nation with great honor and distinction. America's Olympic and Paralympic medal winners in particular will be greeted with great enthusiasm and appreciation upon their return. Local communities across America will find ways to honor their returning hometown heroes. Unfortunately, one of the ways that the federal government will welcome home our Olympic and Paralympic champions is by greeting them with a new tax bill. That's right. The Internal Revenue Service considers these medals to be income and will tax the value of any gold, silver, or bronze medal awarded in competition, as well as any incentive award our athletes receive from the U.S. Olympic Committee. I believe this tax penalty on our Olympic heroes is wrong. And that's why earlier this year I introduced Senate Bill 2650, the United States Appreciation for Olympians and Paralympians Act. This legislation, introduced with Senators Schumer, Gardner, Gillibrand, and Isaacson, would ensure that America rewards the sacrifice and hard work of Team USA by exempting from federal tax the medals and cash prizes they win at the Olympics and Paralympics. I'm pleased that my legislation will pass the Senate later today, sending a strong signal to our Olympic and Paralympic athletes as they depart for the 2016 Games that their nation stands behind them. I urge the House of Representatives to take up and pass this legislation before the House adjourns for the August recess. America's Olympic and Paralympic athletes deserve not only our admiration and respect, but also a tax system that acknowledges the many years of training and sacrifice that they've endured. Because training for the Olympics is not considered a business enterprise, our athletes cannot deduct the substantial costs that they incur over the years as they prepare to represent America on the world stage. Most countries not only compensate their Olympic and Paralympic athletes, but also subsidize their training expenses with taxpayer dollars. Our athletes make considerable financial sacrifices to train for the Olympics and Paralympics, and as amateurs, receive no compensation for their training. The very least that we can do is to ensure they don't receive a tax penalty when they successfully represent our nation at the highest level of athletic competition. Simply put, when it comes to our victorious Olympic and Paralympic athletes, we should celebrate their achievements rather than tax their success. I'd also like to take this opportunity to extend my congratulations and best wishes to one of Team USA's shining stars, and that's South Dakota's own Paige McPherson. Paige grew up in Sturgis, South Dakota, graduating from Black Hills Classical Christian Academy in 2009. She will be competing in Taekwondo at the Rio Games and will be striving for her second medal in a row after claiming a bronze medal at the London Olympic Games in 2012. I know that Paige will represent America and South Dakota with great distinction next month, as will all of our Olympic and Paralympic competitors. Mr. President, I want to thank the original co-sponsors of my legislation, who I mentioned earlier, as well as Finance Committee Chairman Hatch and Senators Sullivan and Moran, for their support. I look forward to seeing our legislation enacted into law this year, and I wish all of our Olympians and Paralympians the very best of luck in Rio. Mr. President, I yield the floor.